Chapter 181. Humble Zuriel's Worry. And the 5 maidens clung so tightly to their beloved that he was unable to move on, except he used a little of his strength, or he dragged them along. Zuriel thought that such a behaviour by his daughters might be somewhat unpleasant to Abadam Jehovah, and asked him respectfully on his knees, "Maybe my daughters are becoming a nuisance to you. Shall I call them back if it pleases you? For you wanted to go to Adam's morning height, and they impede your holy feet." But Abadam answered, "Listen, Zuriel, you think of me from a worldly viewpoint. Who could impede my feet? Which earth could retard my steps? If I did not like the behaviour of your daughters, do you think I could not free myself? You are still considerably blind in your right eye. Behold, every little grain of sand sticking to your feet, I must hold fast with the force of my love, much tighter than the maidens are now clinging to my feet, to let it exist as such. Yet you can freely carry it around, although you are only another created being out of me. Besides, I must hold you endlessly more closely, so that you may be, live, think, feel, and be clearly aware of yourself, and still not impeded by me in your free movement. Behold, the earth moves freely, and so do the moon, the sun, and the countless stars, which are nothing else but, though for you incomprehensibly different, worlds like this earth, and suns like this sun, some incomparably larger, but here and there also smaller ones, with a different light. I must forever hold all of them fast in all their infinitely varied parts, beginning with the atom, right to the largest central sun, in proportion to whose volume. Do understand this well. This earth, together with the sun, which is thousands of times larger than the earth, would be hardly like an atom is to the earth. Otherwise they would suddenly cease to exist. And yet everything can move freely. Do you now understand your blindness? How could you imagine that your daughters might impede my feet? Behold, there are still many such foolish ideas among you. Since I do not find displeasing what the maidens are doing, but on the contrary, very pleasing, you can see that I suffer them gladly. Or should I not suffer those who love me? Who else should then be allowed to approach me? But I tell you, if a woman will not take hold of me and cling to me like these dear daughters here, she will not ever see my face. Do you understand the meaning of these words, Zuriel? And Zuriel replied, "O Jehovah, forgive me, poor blind fool. This is all I am able to say here, and have patience and forbearance with me. Oh, I could now die of shame. No, this I can never forgive myself. The more I think about it, the more clearly I now see the unspeakable folly of my question. O Jehovah, save me, otherwise the great shame of my folly before you will consume me. Your holy will. Amen. And Abidan stretched out his hand towards Zuriel and said, Zuriel, I tell you, be at peace in your heart, for your mistake was due to your blind love for me. That is why I now gave you a light, so that henceforth you no longer love so blindly, but may see with both eyes. But I also tell you that he who does not begin to love me in his blindness, and like you, be concerned for me above all, will hardly ever receive a higher light from my love. But as you now have your full sight, you shall also, without detriment to you, see how little or not at all these maidens clinging to my feet are able to impede my steps. Just look around and see where we at present are, and you will understand how futile your earlier concern was. What do you think about this place? Or are we still where I first came to you? Or is any one of you missing? Here, Zuriel was dumbfounded with astonishment, for only now did he notice that they all were already on Adam's morning height, which was almost half an hour away from the former place, and thus already with Adam. And Abidan asked Zuriel, Listen, Zuriel, why are you dumb? Is it not right that we are already at the place which to reach would have cost us an effort? Zuriel, trying to regain his composure, said, O Jehovah, is it right? Whatever you do is always right and well done. However, no, it cannot be a dream. Are we really there? Yes, but only, how did this happen? So incomprehensibly fast that I did not feel any movement. I was kneeling, and still am. O Jehovah, how miraculous your might is, and how holy your infinite power. Yes, who should not love you above all, having silently recognized you, since you yourself are supreme love? It would surely be too foolish if I were again to ask you, O Jehovah, how this is possible. No, I shall not ask. What should be impossible to you? O Jehovah, look, it is a shame how I am speaking, all confused like an old woman in a dream. Have patience with me and let me first compose myself, for this is too overwhelming for me, who am unclean before you. I thank you, holy, yes, supremely holy Father, for your boundless grace and mercy, of which I am not at all worthy. Yet you, Holy Father, have considered us all worthy of you. Therefore, to you the contrition of our hearts forever. Amen. And Abidan answered him, saying, Zuriel, you find it so astonishing that you are now suddenly here with all the others. But I tell you that every breath you draw, every heartbeat within you, indeed, everything about you, is a greater wonder than what has now happened. This I only worked to show you more clearly how unnecessary your concern for my feet was. But you are righteous and alive, since you have a very sincere heart. Therefore, you shall remain a free dweller in your house. Amen. Now also Adam joined them, and praised and glorified Abiram for being so condescendingly gracious and merciful, even towards women. And Abiram answered, Adam, has not Eve gone forth from my hand? Why should the woman be disadvantaged where my love is concerned? I tell you that one day when I shall build a new heaven, I shall begin to do so in a woman and not at all in a man. But let no one ask me any further about this. Prior to it, there will still be great things happening. Amen.